What was the worst element of Hell Week in training for you? Pain, discomfort, whatever. Was there a particular moment that you went through that was the worst?
I think looking back, I can say that overall the worst part was actually just the collective sleep deprivation. Hell Week was 5.5 days of no sleep, but actually in reality, that was less of the sleep deprivation was so expected with Hell Week that it wasn't really the main thing that you're worried about. It was just staying healthy. But in the weeks leading up to Hell Week, I mean, you're working from sun up to sundown and you're just getting destroyed. And then you have all these extra things you have to do after the day ends. You have to fill up the instructors' cars with gas. You got to set up the coffee machine in the instructor's office so that when they walk in, they just hit a button and it goes. Everyone in your class, you have to have at least one comic who makes a comic about the instructors every day. So when they go in, they have to have a comic ready, like along with their donut and coffee. It's all these kind of extra chores that take a bunch of time. You got to shine your shoes, your boots at the end of the night. You got to prep your gear. And so you're done, let's say at 6:00 at night. And I lived off campus because I was married, or off base because I was married. That's the only way you can live off base. And so I drive, 40 minutes to get back to my house, get back at like 7. I'd eat a burrito. California burritos are awesome. Get a burrito. And then I would do extra stuff at my house, shining boots, sharpening my knife. And before long, it's like, 10 o'clock, which is not that late, but it's a Monday. It's 10 o'clock and I have to be back at Bud's at like 3:30 in the morning. You're perpetually genuine, like for real. You have not gotten enough sleep.
Chronic, protracted sleep deprivation.
And
what does that feel like?
You have no motivation. Motivation goes out the door. And so that is what they're talking about. Instructors are talking about when they say you really got to want to be here, because it's like when your motivation is gone, what does your core want? Do you really want to be a SEAL, or is it just exciting at the idea of calling yourself a SEAL? And there really is a difference, because ultimately, SEALs, like what you're being trained to do is just withstand an enormous amount of misery, because a lot of SEAL missions require it. I mean, we did a mission in Afghanistan on Christmas Day in 2013 that, for real, I've never been colder. And I went through SEAL training. Like the mission itself was so cold in Afghanistan. I had every layer on you could imagine, but you also need to be ready to use your weapon. You can't have like mittens on. You can't use unless you're shooting like a rocket launcher or something, but you need dexterity. And so I remember I'm not going to tell this whole story, but we walked on target and it's this long infill and it's Christmas Day. And I'm thinking like, we're going to be here for 24 hours. I think that it was at least 24 hours. And by the time I just got to the outskirts of the target, I couldn't even move my hands. And I'm like, I can't use my gun. That's how cold it was. But truly, when you're in those moments in real life, you do actually look back at BUD/S and SEAL training and you do think, well, I've been through this stuff before. And that's the point. They want people that can
preparation,
suffer just unbelievably and put up with it, because the job is a lot of suffering.
What did you learn about yourself?
That I can suffer really, really well. Basically, I am someone who actually is prone to panic to a degree, which is my fight or flight. I'm a flight guy, and it took a lot to harness that part of me. And I don't even necessarily think I've done it, but that was something that was really challenging to work through. But I would say that I'm able to withstand discomfort for a really, really long period of time. And it's not because I'm some superhuman. It's just, I don't know, if it feels like if there's some worthy reason to suffer, I can suffer for a really, really long time. And it's actually, when I think about it, it's funny to compare, the military to this, but when I first started making YouTube videos, so not the viral TikTok video I did at the water park, but when I transitioned about 6 months later, because TikTok was going so well, to making long form YouTube videos, I was a one-man band and I was putting out 4 or 5 feature-length videos a week, which basically meant I was not really sleeping at all. I was just spending 20 hours at a clip working on a video to get it out the door, sleeping for like 3 to 6 hours max, and going right back into making another video. And there were loads of times where I would actually think back about Hell Week. And it's like 4 a.m. and I'm trying to write a script and I'm so tired I can't keep my eyes open.
Yep.
I would channel that I've struggled with things before, I can do it now. And I would say, this is how I'm going to make it to the top. I'm going to outwork other people that have had this opportunity. And it worked. It put me on the map out of just sheer determination and willingness to suffer. People don't know how painful it is to sit in front of a camera when you're dog tired on your 9th day of filming. It's miserable.
Yeah. It's one of the most reassuring things to realize that whatever the challenges are that you're facing, aren't bugs, they're features, and that everybody else has to go through this as well.
Yeah.
There's this stat I always throw around. 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3. And of the 10% that do, 90% of those don't make it past episode 20.
Oh, wow.
So if you make 21 podcasts, you're in the top percentile of all podcasters ever.
Wow.
And the point being, well, what is the universal selection criteria between episode 0 and episode 21? It's the same thing that everybody goes through.
Yeah.
My friend Alex says that whenever I get to a low point, when I ask myself, why do I even bother? I just remind myself that this is where most people quit and this is why they don't win.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a feature. This isn't a bug.
Yeah.
Like it's
a way to look at it.
It's built into it. And I think that's quite reassuring. In other news, this episode is brought to you by Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you to sell at every stage of your business. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, including My Drink Newtonic and huge brands like Gymshark. When I was 23, I launched a sportswear company. 13 years later, I launched a productivity drink. Both times, I chose Shopify. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere at every stage of your business. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average than other leading e-commerce platforms. Basically, make more money, have fewer headaches, and launch your business more quickly by using Shopify. Plus, they've got award-winning support to help your success every step of the way. Right now, you can sign up for a $1 per month trial period by going to the link in the show notes below or heading to shopify.com/modernwisdom, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/modernwisdom to grow your business no matter what stage you're at.